Hello! So the star of today's swatch session is Bichette from Westman Atelier. And I just picked this up. I've looked at this before and never really wanted to get it because I thought it looked way too warm. But now that I've swatched it and tried it on, I'm really impressed by it. It's such an interesting red shade that I actually think a lot of people would like it. So I wanted to give you, first of all, a swatch comparison of it next to all the other Westman Atelier baby cheek blushes that I have. Now, I have all of the baby cheeks except for one shade. I don't have Cochette, so this is like a pretty comprehensive list. But the first one there is Bichette, and what I would say about the color, let's see if I can turn to get the best view, is that it is definitely a red, but it's a red with like that sort of oxblood red, right? It's sort of that burgundy, a little bit more warmth to it. They call it a berry. On my skin tone, I personally would not say it's berry. You can see right underneath that, that's the Dodo shade from Westman Atelier, and that one is much more plum leaning, and you can see I would call that one much more of like a berry shade. Now the Dodo shade doesn't have any type of like the red oxblood nature to it, but I would say they're on a similar like depth of color, right? They both look similarly deep. Hopefully that's showing up, but the Bichette is definitely much more of a red tone. Then we have Poppet, then we have Petal, Mimi, and Minette. Minette is the only one of these that is sparkly. Okay, so hopefully that helps if you wanted to see the colors. Now, what I think is maybe more important is to see it swatched next to some other shades and also to see it sort of sheared out, right? Because that's the Bichette shade and it's super saturated, but right here, right above it to the left, that's it actually super lightly used. And that's what I wanted to kind of mention with this. Like, of course, that looks really intense, but you can get such a soft kind of blown out look with this. It's super beautiful, and what I like about it is it actually looks a little bit like a sunburn. So I think that's going to be so great for summer, and I'm going to compare it to some of the other shades that I have that are similar right next to it. So that right above it is very lightly used, I mean super light, but that's how I would wear it, right? And then next to that, we actually have, this is the Blood Flower. I just have a sample size of it, but this is Blood Flower by Rituel de Fil. And that's right there in the middle there. That one is much more on the orange side, but it is still like a red, but it definitely leans more orange. And then next to that, we have this Mob Beauty shade, and this is the cream in shade M73. Now, I would say that this one leads a little bit more on the plum side, but it's so interesting because I feel like when I wear that and I don't have anything plum leaning next to it or anything really warm next to it, I would say it reads very rusty, but because it's next to like this really oxblood shade, it actually looks quite purple. But I would say that it is much more on the warm side of a purple than like most of the other purples that I have. That's why I wanted to show it next to this shade. Okay, then right above that really light swatch I have is actually a different formula, right? This is a powder, but I would say it's my closest color match. So this is the Tom Ford cheek color in Ravish, and I would say that this is really close to, let me show you the swatch because that's more useful, but I would say it's very close to kind of the color that you get from the Westman Atelier, except the Ravish has a little bit of sparkle to it. The Bichette does not have that. Okay, and then the last swatch I have here, this is the William Tuttle K blusher, and I wanted to show this just because to me it looked like it was going to be a similar tone, but when I actually swatched it, it is much more warm and like a deeper orange, right? The Blood Flower is also orange, but this is in a much like deeper tone. So there are some shades there. Hopefully this helps you if you're considering Bichette. And then just if you see that really light swatch, I mean, that's how I'm going to wear this. So I will make a video using this and showing you. Definitely it'll be a summer look of kind of that blown over my bridge of my nose, sort of like a little bit of a sunburn, top of my cheeks kind of thing. And I think that would look so pretty. All right, thanks for watching.